All right. I won't have any time for an update this evening, so we'll do a really quick intraday update. And on SPY, this range is working very well, where I wanted you to watch this level right here at 542, and then below it, we were looking for a gap fill at 537, and above it, we're looking for a push back to the top of the range at 548. So it looks like whether you are a bear or a bull today, you should have done well in either direction, because this level has worked for the downside and the upside, but I will caution you, there's still a few pennies left in this gap down here. So I'm not completely ruling out the possibility we go down and fully close that gap and get a double bottom attempt where the bears and the bulls agree the bottom is in, and then we continue to push higher. And I like this scenario a lot because it'll fill this gap to the downside, which I do believe is one of those 100% guarantee gap fills. So I'm not ruling this out as a possibility. And then we can start on the way higher to fill the gaps to the upside. So I think this is my preferred scenario right now, even though I don't think we have to go lower. And tomorrow we do have the PCE data. It is definitely something I would not rule out completely. And then of course, if we break down below it, then we're looking for a push down to 531. Now, while we're above 542, I don't think you need to worry about the downside, but if we cannot hold above 542, or if we cannot hold above it by the end of the day and we close below it, just be open to the idea we may go a bit lower for that either double bottom attempt or that break of support and go down towards 531. But overall, I still think this is a very powerful bull market. If you look at the weekly charts, we are finally hitting some very strong support. So I don't want you getting overly bearish. If you are taking bear trades, that is completely fine, but you need to manage risk if we get these bull breakouts. And I am expecting things to move very quickly to the upside if the bulls take back control, because we are going to be bouncing off support. On the NASDAQ 100 triple Qs, we are currently sitting just above this risk level at 463. And again, just like SPY, we came down and almost filled this gap down here at 455. So once more, I will not rule out this as a possibility that we go down and fully close that gap and get this double bottom attempt where the bears and bulls agree it's time to go higher. We fill the gap at 455 and then start higher towards the gap fill at 480. And then if we can't hold the gap fill at 455, there will be a possibility we push down towards 446. So right now, 463 is the line in the sand. If we hold above it, look for a push back to the top of this range between 473 and 474. And if we break through that, we are very likely going to 480 to 482. If we can hold this low, do not rule out the possibility this is the higher low within the bull market, and we're right back on the bull going higher. On the Dow Jones, we are currently trading just above 402, which is about 0.85% to the upside. We did fully close that gap to the upside at 403. We are bouncing off of the rising 20 daily moving average, and so far it looks like we could be pivoting off of a higher low before we go higher towards my price target up here at 415. Above 415, I do think we can go to 420, and I do think this is a very clear stay bull above 398. If we cannot hold above 398, it's okay to get risk off, but above 398, I prefer to be risk on in the Dow Jones. On the Russell 2000 IWM ETF, we are currently up over 2%, and we did break yesterday's high, but we are still finding sellers right here at 223. But tomorrow with the PCE data, because that is an inflation data report, and the small caps are very sensitive to rates, we could easily get a low inflation print, see the rates start to ease even more as IWM goes on to hit my price target at 228. Now keep in mind, 228 is just a near-term target. I do think the small caps have a very good chance of all-time highs this year. And if you don't agree with me, that's completely fine, but I think it's a very good chance. So right here, I think this is a very simple stable above 220. And if we can't hold above 220, then we will likely go to make an attempt to break the bottom of the range at 216. On ARKK, we are back above 46, and that support level right there at 45.7 is the risk level. So if we can close above that, this could have been a quick dip down below support before we go higher towards 50.7. If we cannot hold above 45.7, this could just be a lower high bounce before we continue lower towards 44. On the VIX, we're currently down about 5%, and the VIX is crushing from 18, and I still think there's a very good chance if a bottom is in and a higher low is in a bull market, we will see the VIX crushing back down towards 13. But while the VIX is above 15, you can stay cautious or at least be prepared for a very volatile market. On Bitcoin, we're sitting right on top of the risk level at 65,000. If we can hold above 65,000, once more, I'll tell you it's possible. These are all higher lows in bull trends, and we're going higher to the top of the range at 71,000. If we can't hold 65,000, look for a test of support right around 62 to 63,000. On Nvidia stock, we had a very volatile morning, and we did finally close that gap down there at 106.48. And if you go back to over a month ago when I was talking about the Nvidia blow off top, I told you there was a very good chance we were coming down here to fully get a correction and close these gaps. And this is a very bullish indication because this could be a bottom in Nvidia, and we could be right back on a bull that is going to all-time highs. So I am very bullish on Nvidia as long as it can hold above this support zone between 106 and 109. If it cannot do that, that's completely fine. We'll be looking for a push lower towards the previous breakout at 95 to 96. But right now, I think this is a very good chance, and I really like that we're seeing an increase in volume on Nvidia today after closing that gap and a very bullish looking hammer. On Tesla stock, we're currently up 4.26%, and we did not close this gap down here at 213, and we also have a gap up here at 245, but more than likely what's happening is we're just going to trade within this range between the gap fill at 213 and the top of the range at 230. View it as a range, meaning we can just ping pong in here until we get a breakout to the upside or the downside, and to the downside, I think there's a lot less risk because I don't expect us to go very low unless we break down below 213. And if we break 213, then we could go to 197. But right now, I do think this is end up going to be a higher low. And I do think from this higher low, we'll start back into that bull trend and make another higher high. On Apple stock, we are currently sitting at 220. We did test this risk zone, and I told you this was a nice trade from about 216 to 218 up to about 232. And I think after earnings, we will see a brand new all-time high in the 240s. But manage your risk. If we can't hold above this support, then you could get risk off. And then we're looking for support right around 212 and 207. So jumping back over the S&P 500, I realized this was a quick intraday update, and it's not what you're used to. But again, I couldn't be here in this evening to make you a video, so I figured this was better than nothing. And I do think we're very close to seeing if this is going to be a higher low within the bull market as we continue higher, or we're going to at least get more evidence that we're going lower. So I still do think bulls have the advantage here, but they are on borrowed time. If they cannot hold these previous lows or get this double bottom or bull breakout very soon, it will strengthen the position the bears have that we could be in a deeper correction or a downtrend. But right now, you have to remember this is a very powerful bull market. And in this very powerful bull market, bears have told you numerous times that it has topped and it can't go higher. And I can count at least a dozen times those bears have been incorrect. And I'm telling you right now, there's a very good chance they're incorrect yet again. Now, again, I could be wrong and maybe the market did top, but I severely doubt it. And I have a lot more reasons to believe it has not than simply what you are hearing me say on daily updates. I don't just say things for the hell of it. I do my research and I'm very knowledgeable about the market. And that is why I was able to tell you about that sector rotation before it even happened. So it's okay if you don't believe me. Follow the price. The chart does all of the damn talking anyway. And right now, I drew lots of price action for you to pay attention to around critical risk levels. So make sure those are in your trade plan. And it will not matter in a volatile market if you want to go short or long. There's plenty of volatility to trade in both directions. All that matters is that you manage risk and you realize if your trade is not working, you bail on that trade before your losses become too large and start to erode your profits. In order to be a profitable trader, you have to be a very, very disciplined risk manager. And that is why I always talk about risk management each and every night on these updates. So if you want to access all of my trade ideas, all of my technical analysis, and my intraday updates, you can get that in my Discord server, and you can find out how to join my Discord server by clicking on the link in the description of this video. We are going to absolutely crush this market in the volatility, so now is a great time to be part of the Discord community. So thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you're crushing this market. And as always, I will see you in the next episode.